Alright, this video is to explain how you are going to make your Shadowbox self-portraits. This project is inspired by a famous artist known as Frida Kahlo. She is famously known for her self-portraits with her animals and with also her famous unibrow. She really focused on Mexican folk art that uses bright colors and floral fabrics and floral patterns. And she incorporated a lot of that into her artwork. And people have created shadow boxes with Frida's portrait in them. These are some examples, and they are specifically for Day of the Dead, which is a Mexican holiday where they remember their loved ones, and by remembering them, they will always be a part of their life. So we are taking the idea of creating a shadow box and putting things that we love into that shadow box, and we are turning it into a self-portrait just like what Frida did in all of her famous pieces. So the first thing that you're going to do is you have some options. You can freehand draw a portrait of yourself. You can print off an image from the computer, or you could trace from the computer or from a printed piece. What I'm doing right now is I'm just tracing from the computer. And then I found some photos of my dogs that I really like, and I have Hershey with this cute little sweater, so I traced that. And then there's a photo of my dog Ziggy that I'm tracing, and now I'm taking crayon and just coloring it in. So Ziggy has rainbow hair. Yes, it's not natural, I know what you're thinking. And Hershey is gray and brown, so I kind of put that on, and I'm coloring a sweater in. And then I'm just going to color in my face with some purple on the ends because I have purple hair, and just coloring it in, adding some colors around it because Mexican folk art is very vibrant and has a lot of bold colors in it. And you are going to actually be using the box that all your art supplies came in to use that as the shadow box. So you could keep the lid on it, or you can do what I did. I just cut off the lid. And with the lid, what I did was I created a top piece for my box. And if you look, it's very similar to some of the shadow boxes that you briefly saw in the beginning of the video. And now I'm taking some of the scrapbook paper that you got, and I am cutting it, just making some patterns, some circles, so then I can glue that into the background, so then the background's not just brown. Now what I'm going to start doing is making some roses to go in there to add some floral aspects to it. I folded it just so I could see these squares on here. You don't really have to do that. It just makes it easier for me. You can use colored paper, or what I'm just gonna do is go in and with a marker, add some color to both sides. And I want it a little scribbly because I think that might look really cool with the style. And then what I'm going to do is take scissors. I always like to start with a square, even though you're going to end with a circle, but I just think it makes it easier to turn it into a circle. So we have the square, and then we are going to kind of just trim off the edges. And it's not going to be a perfect circle because it is a flower, and flowers aren't perfectly shaped. We have that, and then all I'm going to do is cut into it and just spiral. And then when I'm done, see, just kind of let it bubble out a little bit, and then I'm going to take some hot glue. I'm just going to put a couple dots of hot glue there, and then I'm just going to let it set. Something else that you could do is take a pencil. I'm just going to do a Sharpie so you can see it better, and make the spiral that way, and then color it. That way you can cut around that spiral. And do the other side, so I can cut this circle out, and then cut along that line. Kind of let it go. And then we have some roses to put on there. I'm gonna do one more because I like doing things in threes. I'm gonna do another pink one. Now it's time to assemble it all together. So I took some glue and Elmer's glue, and I already put some glue down. Now I'm putting on my face, and I have the flowers, so I'm gluing the flowers on there. And if you look, I made a border with the foam that's gonna come in your box, and I just did little bumps. I took hot glue and I'm gluing on the top piece with the hot glue. I just put it on one line, and I'm using the hot glue also for the sides. So I glued those on, and now I'm taking Hershey and I glued a piece of paper to the back of him so he'd be able to stand up. And now I'm taking some of the felt and I am turning those into roses as well. So then once I glue all of that together and get everything together, so then the final touch I did was I cut some strawberry pieces from another piece of paper that I had, and I glued those around it because I used to work in a strawberry patch for 12 years growing up. So that is something special to me. And there you have it. There is my final piece. I cannot wait to see what you guys do with this. Happy creating. Bye.